how big was this act of vandalism? How many people were affected? And one detail I'm particularly curious about, were these name tags written in Chinese characters or in the Romanized version of Chinese, which is Pinyin?
So the first time these incidents have come to our attention was during the Lunar Chinese New Year, and after that, students have reported the incidents to the university. And after the university sent out an email to the campus, to the Asian organizations on campus, more and more students started reporting more and more incidents to the university. And it later came into our knowledge that the first incidents actually happened a lot earlier, which was at the start of the semester. So roughly 4 to 5 different residence halls at different parts of the campus were affected, and the victims range from 15 to 20 students.
And exactly my question about how the name tags were they written in Chinese only, or were they written with both versions?
Right. So all of the names that were ripped off were written in Pinyin Chinese, which is Romanized Chinese. But the peculiar thing was, if your name is written as, for example, Jack Yan, your name would be left over there. If it's written as Hu He Yan, that would be ripped off. So it's like clearly targeting the Chinese international students.
Mm-hmm. What prompted you to decide make that movie, and how it has been received on the campus so far?
So the thing is, my video is actually, I would say, responding to the response from the university. So there has been like a larger climate at Columbia that is just like increasingly concerning the student body. Like last year, the transgender awareness bulletin board in my residence halls were vandalized for 3 times. And earlier last semester, the wrestling teams has been found sending extremely racist and misogynistic and homophobic messages to each other, and that was reported to the university as well. And the university responded to those incidents by sending an email to the entire campus, bringing to the attention of everyone within the community. But with this specific incidence of name tags of Chinese students, the university only sent out an email to all of the Asian student organizations on campus, but not the rest of the campus community. And that was just extremely frustrating for me. I feel like I need to find a way to bring to the attention of the larger campus community that this has happened, and this is a lot serious than the university has taken it for. So that's what prompted me to make the video. Yeah. So I originally intended the video to be viewed by the campus community, obviously, but I never ever expected that it has been like shared to places like London and Sydney and Moscow and even mainland China. That was completely unexpected.
Yeah, why do you think so many people are interested in watching this video? And what do you expect to happen in the future? Do you think things will improve after this?
Well, I think it has to do with the messages we're sending through the video. So I personally believe the way you combat hate crime or combat xenophobic behaviors is not to like violently protest. We're just like confront those people. And first of all, we haven't found those people yet. And so my messages that I was trying to send through the video is like, let's sit down, let's have a conversation. And I really want to explain to you why these names are important to us and why we're angry. And through this video, I was really trying to establish a platform for us to really sit down and engage in mutual understanding. And I think that resonates with a lot of people. I guess it's just the art of Chinese problem solving. Like we are, I mean, like harmonious and conflict avoiding people. And I think the video very much reflects that sort of attitude from a lot of my classmates, that we want to resolve this issue in a non-violent but like more informative and educational sort of way.
But you want but you want to respond to it. You want to have your voices heard. That was much appreciated.
Exactly.
Yan Huhe joining us from the campus of Columbia University. And to continue discuss this matter, I'm pleased to be joined in the studio by Professor Teng Jimeng, a senior visiting scholar on US-China Fulbright scholarship based at New York University and Boston College. Professor Teng, thank you very much for joining me today. What was your take after hearing about this incident? Were you surprised? Were you shocked? What was your reaction when you first heard about this incident?
Well, first off, let me just give my support and sympathy to all these students who fall victim to this very act of vandalism. To me, my reading is this is an act of cowardice, this is an act of vandalism, and this is also, ultimately, I think this is an act of racism. I mean, that happened against the general backdrop of this Trump era. I mean, without the election of Donald Trump, I mean, there won't be any sort of event like this. Columbia has been always a precedent for the universities and also the larger societies all across the United States. It has been, in a sense, regarded as a place of academic excellence and also enlightenment. Nothing like this happened before. And so, in a sense, I think this is not to be seen as an isolated event. This is an event that actually occurred against the larger backdrop of xenophobia, fueled by a president who used divisive language during the election and post-election.
So, two things here. First of all, you have been visiting the United States for quite some time now. Have you seen with your own eyes a rise of hatred or bigotry against immigrants, against international students or tourists? And secondly, when you're saying with the election of Trump, it has actually fueled that, what made you say that? Do you have concrete incidents or evidence that would back up your statement?
Well, luckily, I have never been exposed to such an act back in the United States when I was visiting New York University back in 2000 and also Boston College in 2015. I think that generally speaking, US campuses can be the most friendly place. I mean, of all, free of any kind of a xenophobia or the kind of a racism. Of course, there are also incidents that occurred, I mean, all along the way, but then not the kind of frequency I witnessed this time around. And so in this case, we are now seeing concrete examples of racism, remarks and acts, and most importantly, in a sense, this is basically racism and racial bigotry in action during this very particular period.
Yeah, actually, during the press conference I was mentioning about U.S. President, given by U.S. President Donald Trump and Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Trump specifically said, "I'm against racism." He said, "Is he really?" So he refuses to acknowledge that he incites people to hate.
Well, I think he's basically not true. I mean, during this very election campaign, you see lots of divisive and anti-immigration. Remember the charge against the Mexican immigrants, and also now the ban on the 7 Muslim states. I mean, that ban actually would affect hundreds and thousands of students' lives and potential workers working in the United States. And so I don't see that this is a president which is true to its own words.
From his actions, we cannot understand that. We cannot, take it that he's against racism. Another interesting detail is that these have happened to East Asian students, especially Chinese students. The fact that a lot of the international students in Columbia actually from China or from Hong Kong, and especially over recent years, is that one of the reasons why this kind of vandalism or xenophobia targeted against Chinese has been on the rise?
Well, this time around, I think it is very clear that they're targeting at East Asian students. For example, if you look at these name tags, I mean, they include Chinese names, Korean names, and East Asian names, or even combined names, like names in, for example, people from Hong Kong, like Jack Wan, or even stuff like that. But then, once again, if you look into that very matter, you can see that most of these names are actually Chinese names, and we Chinese actually consider these names almost a secret part of our culture. I mean, it is ancestral heirloom in particular, and also cultural heritage in general. And so this is a serious offense.
On the other hand, do you think that the Chinese people, the Chinese community in the United States, do you think they could have done something a bit better in having their voices heard, in communicating with their surroundings a little bit more?
Well, absolutely. I think this time around I would praise Hu He and also his fellow students at Columbia. I mean, as a first step, the very short video that they make is very, very kind of interesting and also powerful in dramatize their predicament and also publicize their predicament. And so my idea is to continue to make it into a campaign and turn it into a debate and join hands with other communities, East Asian communities in general, in a sense, to raise the issue and dramatize the issue, and so that there is a public debate so that we can actually bring the matter to light. It's not supposed to be that we are punishing someone, but it's a chance for clear understanding.
Sure, and very interesting point. I actually like it very much. A lot of the Chinese students who are learning English have been encouraged to adopt a Western name, Alice, Mary, for the convenience of our foreign friends, of our foreign teachers. And one of my foreign teachers said, never change your name for the sake of the convenience of other people. Your names have been given by your parents, and that is sacred. Nobody should be able to give you another name. Anyway, a very interesting subject, and I think a lot of messages that are resonating around the world. That's why this video has been viewed so many times. Thank you very much, Professor Teng, for joining us.